I'm mad as hell.
And I'm not going to take it anymore. Who used to say that? Who was the guy that said, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore?
Some wrestler?
No, I don't know. I thought it was like a commercial or something.
No.
Hey, welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
I'm Tom. There's still a couple tickets left to our 10-year anniversary show.
Yeah. Can't seem to sell those. So if you guys want to buy those.
Yeah,
we can't see.
You know what? I don't even care if you go.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, don't show up.
I won't
fine.
even notice if the last row is empty.
Yeah. How many tickets are there? How many are there?
I don't even know.
I'll buy them. I'll buy them.
Don't even buy them. I don't know. I don't even care.
Just give them away. Can we just give them away?
Yeah. They don't want to go. They're only $10, so it's not the money.
Hey, on the line with us right now and joining us live from Canada is our very good friend, Canadian Josh, but he gave me an AI theme song that I'm supposed to play for him.
Oh, okay. No,
boy.
Well,
Yeah.
no, he got a hold of the AI theme song?
Anybody can do it now, man. Anybody. You think it's like having a cat. Anybody can have it.
Well, I did try to download it at my house. I Googled.
forgot the name.
I just had AI theme song. It was a bunch of things.
AI theme song. That's not what it's called.
And then I couldn't find it.
You would want to put in something like AI custom song generator.
Okay.
And then there'd probably be like 40 of them that pops up. We happen to use the one known as it Suno that we use? Josh?
Suno, yeah.
Yeah. So here's Josh's 27-second Canadian Josh theme song. Here we go. Let's see how we do.
Down to the Tom and Dan show. It's Canadian Josh, the #1 BDM. You know, from the land of pines where the maple trees grow. Tom's pop called it Gay Mexico.
Whoa.
You like that?
Gay Mexico. They were gay Mexicans. The Mexican. Oh, I thought I had the Mexican. Oh, I don't even have my stuff in the Where's my thing? The Mexicans were gay. Sorry, I just wanted to keep going with the song. I like that, Josh. Good job, buddy.
Thanks. Did Pop actually refer to Canada as Gay Mexico?
No.
All right, well, listen, Josh. I'm going to
think
tell you some
Tom
inside
I
thing.
think Tom was joshing.
Every racist thing I pawn off onto my relatives, I thought of. And I just use my relatives.
It's true.
So because I'm like, well, if they say it, I could say it.
Yeah, my
and
dad
it seems
wasn't
like
creative at all.
And I'm like, I put my hands up. I'm like, oh, I didn't say it. This guy was horrible. The man's dead. I shouldn't be ruining his reputation.
He doesn't care.
But
So Pop is just kind of figurative. Like that's the archetype Southern relative who uses...
He definitely thought that because I know how he thought. He thought way worse.
He didn't
actually.
think that, but if he'd heard that, he would have laughed at that, right?
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
He thought a really horrible.
Yeah,
thing.
it would have been worse than that.
I can't even tell you. I can't even say it.
So what's been going on, buddy? How are things in Canada? We've got Tom mentioned it.
I can tell you in private.
Tom mentioned it before we came on the show, but we are smack dab in hockey, right? We are in playoff.
Yes, I was going to talk about that.
Playoff hockey is killing it.
It kind of played in when Tom was ranting before while we were doing the warm-up about parlays. I did have a parlay recommendation for you, Tom. So,
all right.
Panthers. So your Florida team still in it. Now you guys are more Tampa fans, though, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I have been. I'm always more on the Lightning side of things, and we have friends that broadcast in Tampa. And
see, I'm technically, I would put myself into Florida Panthers.
I would agree with that,
just because they play down south. And then it's funny because I was watching the Panthers game because my buddy the Wizard and his wife are huge Florida Panthers fans.
Oh, nice! I didn't know that.
And a lot of people are down south, but I don't really follow NHL, so really whatever Florida team's still in it, I'll root for, whether it be the Lightning or the Panthers. But I did watch the last game of the Panthers and watch them win and move on, and it was pretty exciting. They scored at the last minute.
Yeah, that was a stinger for me because they were going against my Bruins, and that was the death blow for us out of the playoffs there. But it's impressive the crowds in Florida, like this legit NHL crowds in Southern Florida, which I always find, what gets them into hockey down there? Just
it's so rain.
I wonder if it's a little bit of the air conditioning, right? Like maybe the air conditioning's nice.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean,
you get sport, but you also get sport ice cold beer, and you're not melting. which is not a bad thing.
It's a novelty for us, but like, do you have any idea, Josh, how hot it is right now? Like, I gotta run after the show, and me and Dana are walking.
Hot? You guys like 100 degrees already?
Yeah, the high today is gonna be around 92, 93.
Yeah, but it feels like 100, whatever it is. Like,
it's still. It's very wet and still. There doesn't seem to be much of a breeze.
Yeah.
Can you convert that to real mesurement? What does that mean? Like for the rest of us in the world?
It's an imperial gallon.
Let me talk some ass about Celsius first.
What, the energy drink? It makes my face red. It makes my face red, and I'm virtually certain it made me feel like my balls fell off.
You
ever feel like that, where your testicles disconnect from your torso?
I know that
just me.
Like with Fahrenheit, at least you get like when it's over 100, that signifies hot, and that makes sense to everybody.
What's dangerous for Celsius? I don't even know.
What's 100 degrees Celsius in Fahrenheit?
It would be around 40. Like, so what I know about Fahrenheit is I know 100's hot, 70 is basic room temperature, and I think 32 is freezing.
I think I got to go with Tom. Americans know that 100 either means danger or you ace the test. That's it.
Yeah. It's like,
like if the pressure.
It's the most hot.
Yeah, if we had a cauldron and it was
zero is the most cold.
It's building up pressure like this cauldron, and then we have a gauge, and it tells me like when it gets to what number will it be dangerous. Everybody knows that's 100. That's just logic.
Everything, like we do everything. The numbers are 100%.
But
it's 100% hot.
If I was looking at a gauge and it said, "Oh, this is going to 40%,"
I was like, "Is that the middle?"
Yeah, I still got 60% left. I'm good.
Yeah, that's the hottest you can get. Oh, stupid Celsius.
40, once we hit 40, that's bad. About 35 is our, oh my God. But see, I think our freezing point makes more sense because that's just plain old 0. 0 degrees, freezing.
Celsius does have a good freezing point because I do agree with you. The logic of 0 being the coldest, and us, Fahrenheit stops at 32. Was a random,
I don't like that one.
But it goes lower. It
doesn't work both ways.
It goes lower,
But, how do you feel about Kelvin?
What's that British one for weight? They use stones.
Yeah, that's stones. The dumbest one.
Stones. Oh, women hate it when you say like, "Oh, you need to lose a few stones, right?" That's what they say when you're fat in England. They're like, she needs to lose a few stones."
That's too archaic. It's a Game of Thrones s.
I think it's 18 pounds, 16 pounds, something like that. But anyway, we're going to talk hockey. So yes, your Florida Panthers are still in it. They are facing the New York Rangers in the Eastern Conference Final. Tom's Florida Panthers. And in the West, you've got Dallas and Edmonton. Now, we were talking about parlay picks, Tom. You could consider a parlay, take Florida tonight on the point spread, which is 1.5 is the point spread.
Put the camera back on Tom so you can see that this is the only time he'll actually write things down. Look at him. He's very excited.
If you go Florida point spread tonight and then tomorrow, Edmonton Oilers on the money line, that'll pay you 5.30 to 1. So drop $100 on those two, $500.
I would actually trust Josh because he watches a lot of hockey.
Yeah, but I need to shop all my books and see what prices everybody's offering.
The irony of you saying that is so funny to me.
Yeah, that's the problem with parlays too. Is like all the different books will have different prices. So I'll do my shopping. But you like the Panthers, and it's plus 1.5.
Yeah. Okay. Panthers on the point spread and Oilers on the money. Now, are you completely opposed, Tom, to parlays? Like, would you do a 2? Like, what's your limit? Like, what's the upper ceiling for parlay picks for you, if at all?
Well, parlays are not necessarily a horrible bet if you get a correlated parlay. For instance, like if you think it's going to be a low-scoring game, right? Mm-hmm. So taking the Panthers plus 1.5 and the under is a good correlated parlay in that, because if you're like, oh, I believe it's going to be low scoring, so I'll take the points and the under, and those two things could be correlated, because if it is low scoring, then getting a 1.5 is advantageous and you're going to get the under. So it's like,
that makes sense.
So real professional, but in the broad sense, nobody should do any sort of parlays if you don't know what you're doing and you have no edge. But if you do
that
have
would
an
be
edge,
me.
Because they're a lottery bet, especially like anything over 2 is real ridiculous, 3, 4.
What are you thinking, Josh? That jiving with you, buddy?
Yeah, and I'd say just the safe one: Florida tonight and Edmonton tomorrow.
Now, Josh, let me ask you this, because I know in like playoff NBA, there's been a theme with gambling, at least, where you could actually, and I don't know if the edge is there anymore, but back in the day, gamblers used to ping pong back and forth with whoever won the first game of the series. They bet on the other team.
What are you, like, playing momentum?
Yeah, you're
travel. You're playing travel.
You're just betting the other team, where it's like, okay, the one team has one game up, so it's like the other team feels the pressure. They're gonna
then
maybe
you probably want to go Eastern Conference champs, because who won that? Who was?
But in hockey, I don't know if there's any of that where it's like there is some sort of edge in playing the other team. Like, for instance, if Florida does win against the Rangers, if it's good to take the Rangers game too.
Yeah, that would make sense, especially, well, maybe the opposite, because they're playing in New York tonight. And, man, like, as far as my picks, I've done the bracket for from the beginning of the playoffs, and I have got every single pick right, like, as far as what team's advancing, not necessarily in the number of games. And so I'm going to take the Rangers. I think are going to beat Florida out in 6 games, and then I'm going to take Dallas over Edmonton in 7 games. I'm predicting a New York Rangers, Dallas Stars Stanley Cup final.
So is there any, like, okay, go back to that Panthers game that I watched the ending of. That last goal within the final minute of the game, it seemed like it went by a defender and then squeezed itself into like a 6-inch.
Yeah, it's hard for me to watch. It's an anxiety thing. When I'm watching, it's rough.
And it's like, the puck got ricocheted off, and then the Florida Panthers player, I forgot his name, but he just winged it, and it just went in by pure luck. Yeah. Like, it just happened to fit into this little slot.
He hit it. He forced the hell out of his luck,
And it's like, and that kind of thing. It's like, well, if you're just taking shots at the goalie and one of them happens to go in, it's like, how do you even put any sort of prediction to that? Or, it's like when the NFL, I kind of get down to where, like, all right, one team scheme versus another team's defense, and the player personnel. There's probably that in the NHL.
It would be the same way. It'd be like, what lines are on the ice, who's hurt at the time.
Yeah, there's things like what goalie?
How fresh is the keeper?
Yeah, it is so hard to score in the NHL, man. Like, the goaltenders are just so big and so fast and so good now. Like, essentially, if they can see it, they're going to stop it. Like, the only way you're scoring now, especially deep in the playoffs with the caliber of goalies, is, like you said, just crazy circumstances. It's got to be a screen in front. There's got to be a tip, because most of these guys now, they see it, they can stop it. So hard to score.
And does crowd noise play into it at all? Like, because it seems like they're not. I know they're communicating on the ice, but not as much as like in an NFL game. You're huddled up, you're calling plays.
Well, NBA, they're talking the whole time. You're just chirping.
And
it's not as much of a factor in the NHL. You basically, everybody knows where you're going to be. Like, where to spread out.
Also, I don't know.
You'll see them once in a while. They'll huddle before a face-off, but not.
Have you ever been in the
center
of the ice when there's a ton of people on? You have.
Oh.
It's hard to hear. Because it reflects right off of the ice. Like, it's weird.
But if you don't need to communicate, then that really doesn't play into, it's like you see in NFL games when a quarterback's trying to audible out of a play, screaming, people can't hear. It's like that is affecting his ability to play.
I don't know this for certain in hockey, but when I normally see it is when they change their lines and you'll see them line up on, and then if some guy's mad, he'll pull his guys in from the line that he's on, and they'll start going at their scheme. Yeah, like they'll start talking there. But
so, is there that much of a home field advantage in hockey that you've seen, Josh?
I think it's just more the emotional support from your fans. I guess back to the crowd noise thing. I have seen it before where when they're doing changes on the fly, line changes. If there's some confusion on the bench, then you can get a guy. Too many guys can go out and potentially get a penalty for too many men on the ice.
Okay.
And when that happens, that's the coach's fault. It's like if somebody didn't hear him, so I guess crowd noise could play into that. But can I just bitch about something real quick with
that's
instant
what Tom
replay?
Does. Yeah, that's what Tom does.
Because I was thinking about referees and crowd noise, but instant replays now drive me nuts with offsides. I've seen them spend up to 7 minutes trying to review an offside for the sake of a couple of centimeters. It didn't really affect the play at all. It happened like a minute before the goal was even scored. You know what I mean? But talking about slowing the game down, that drive, maybe like do it like overtime in the playoffs. You can review offsides, but other than that, man. for that amount of time.
Yeah, because it is a little difference. Normally in soccer, you can almost telegraph it. You can see it because the passes are slower. But in hockey, you cannot. And then you're right. They've got all this momentum, and they'll pull it back, and then it'll take a long time.
Oh, and I know they're just sitting there forever.
It takes they need to speed that. You're right. They need to speed that up.
Implement any technology like chips in the ice skates or some way?
I think they do have it. I just don't know if everybody's on board. If that makes sense. It's like they can absolutely do it. It's just but you'd have to have everybody on board, and I don't think everybody is yet.
Yeah. And then if the technology breaks down and you get dependent on it, then what do? You're like, oh, I guess, but you go back to the old school way.
Yeah, you would have safeguards in place, you know.
Anyway, but they got to speed. A lot of people bitch about this with them reviewing stuff for so long because the referees don't want to get it wrong because it's on national television people so they have to review it to make sure it's right. But this
reminds me of the time I got really high laying in bed, and I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about the EPL, and I was thinking because it was a call, and it was really slowing down a really fast soccer match, and I thought to myself, why don't they just delay the broadcast by a full hour, right? And start the game 1 hour late for the broadcast. And then whenever they go to review, or 30 minutes, you could do 15, 30 minutes. And then whenever you go to review a play, don't show me that. Just eat up a little bit of that time.
So you're behind by about 30 minutes.
Yeah, you're behind by 30 minutes. That way, when you are executing it and I'm watching it live, there's a built-in buffer for you to keep it moving for me. I don't know. I was really high when I thought of that.
I'm with you. I like that.
Yeah.
Well, the only problem is that then it gets into the gambling aspect of it.
Yeah. Somebody's there. You couldn't do it.
Which has
gambling is sort of ruining sports. It really is. And I know you can't argue that it's not. Because, look, the NFL, everything is all messed up. It's gross. It's like everybody's betting on everything. Oh, we got a guy down there. He's looking at the Gatorade color. It's like, just get that the hell out. No, it's not making it better.
It makes it more exciting.
No,
Who cares?
I'm sport for sport. I watch the sport because I enjoy my Atlanta Falcons. I don't give a damn about how much money. I don't care about making money.
Why do you care if they win?
Because I like that team. You know what I'll make money on? My talent. I'll make money on betting on some other guy trying to control things I can't control.
It's just emotionally, you're like, I want them to win for my own happiness.
No, I've invested.
I need money.
I have followed them for long enough to know that, yes, I am emotionally invested. When I go to make money, I don't make it trying to believe in things that aren't real. I don't make it trying to control factors I can't control. Because gambling, you're always losing. It's always losing. It's only fun if you enjoy losing.
Well, you can win. Yeah, you can.
But I've never seen it. So when I see it, I'll change my tune.
Well, it's too hard to do it.
Show me the win, and I'll change my tune.
I'd have to quit my job, spend 80 hours a week just to have a small edge, only to get kicked out of the book.
It's ruining sports. What else you got, Josh?
Okay, Tom, how about a good old I'm just like you, Tom story? I think I've mentioned it to you guys before that one of the appeals of the show is that I relate with various aspects of each of your personalities. So, Tom, I have gotten myself into, it's currently an active situation. I am currently in the middle of a Paul Van situation.
All right.
Okay. We have a lot of these going on right now.
Yeah.
And like the moment it started to happen. So the backstory is I have a pug. His name's Hank.
I like Hank. I'm a fan of Hank. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, he's a beauty. He's his own guy. But anyway, we're out walking, and you see people on the walks who you know, right? And it's always funny. I know the dogs' names, but I don't know the owners. So anyway, I see Chocolate Lab Guy. So Chocolate Lab Guy comes up, and he said, "Oh, look!" And Hank walked up to him, and he goes, "Oh, it's Huey. How is Huey doing?" And then there was my moment to say, his name is not Huey. His name is Hank. But I didn't do it. I just kind of like floated above my body. I didn't correct him. So now it's Huey this and Huey that. I see him on the trail this morning. It's Huey. And now I'm having to tell my wife, when you're out with Hank and you see Chocolate Lab Guy, make sure you let him know that it's not Hank, it's Huey. And she's like, no, I'm going to tell him immediately.
Why don't you find out his dog's name? Hold on, counter it. Find out his dog's name, and he's like, oh, this is Buster, and then start calling
Ella. Her name is Ella.
Okay, then you have to call his dog's name by a different name. Call her Penelope next time you see her.
So you're saying to maybe initiate the correction, and then I would correct him and
yeah,
say,
so
no.
walk up to him and go like, oh, it's Penelope, and then go petting his dog, and then he'll go, no, this is Ella, and be like, well, it wasn't Huey, it was Hank. Good day.
He will be Huey forever. The only thing is my wife runs into him. She'll correct him. But
what's wrong with correcting him?
I don't know, Tom.
Yeah.
Like, why do we do this?
Because
do you remember when she first called you Paul Van?
Yeah,
did you have that moment? You're like, I need to stop this now.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Because first I always tell myself I need to stop this. We're like, well, hold on. I'm like, I can't have alcohol every day. and then next thing you know, and they're like, oh my God, hold on. How many
Where am I?
How many years has it been? Anyway, but the problem is when you don't you don't correct them. After for the first couple times, you're like, who cares? Because I don't care about anything.
Well, by
right?
not correcting them, you're showing that you don't care about them in a
Yeah.
weird way. You're showing that they don't matter to you.
Yeah.
It's complete and utter indifference.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't care what you call my dog because you don't matter in my life.
Yeah. By the way, I don't know if this comes to a surprise to anybody, but I don't care about people's animals' names at all.
Well, you don't care about you care about you and your family, and that's it.
No,
which is not a bad way
that's
of
not.
living.
No, but that makes me sound like a D-head.
No, I don't mean like I'm
I
not saying
wish-
you're not generous and stuff. I mean just the with your priorities, it's you and your family, and a lot of the other stuff is incidental.
Like when you show me your iguana, and you're like, my iguana's name is Fred.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
you didn't have to tell me that.
But I'm the guy. I'm the guy. You show me the iguana. I'll talk to you about it because I'm a normal, regular, caring, sensitive, emotional person.
I will never need to know your iguana's name is Fred. I will never call it Fred.
This is where it gets dickheady. This is where it gets dickheady.
It doesn't. Well, no, I'm just telling you what I think. I'm not going to tell you. When you tell me, I'm like, I just smile, like, okay. And then, but it's like you're wasting your life telling me this. Don't care. Don't need to know. We'll never. It doesn't need to know. It has no concept of names.
You don't see. You don't need to go
It's
that
a jungle
far.
Animal.
You don't need to go that
whatever,
far. You don't need to
go
go that far.
Dogs at least will respond to their name, although.
Right.
Then don't tell me about your gambling if you don't want to hear about my iguana, okay?
Well,
don't tell me about your correlated parlay or whatever.
Well,
Correlated
that
I
can
don't
be
even care about
useful.
it. It's
That
not
can-
useful.
a
You're
dog's-
only losing.
A dog's name is never useful.
The animal, at least you get emotional support out of it. The gambling, you're just taking your money and flushing it down the toilet.
Emotional support is BS.
That's all right.
Well,
I would guess that anybody that would talk to us and say both of us have our emotions in check, and we got it right.
how does a dog?
So do I just ride this out then? Like leave the name wrong, and from now
No,
to the
why
end of
don't you
time?
just let your wife handle it?
your
Just
dog-
let your wife handle it.
This dog emotionally supports me.
But you don't have to declare it like that. You spend time with
It's
it.
an animal.
Not like that. It's not like that.
Anyway,
You'll never understand it.
so yeah, just never tell her anymore. Because the dog's lifespan is only 8 years. So you know.
Maybe.
That's what I waited out my neighbor. I was like, well, I did the math.
How long do you have?
And that had happened. Although
it could be years, yeah.
my wife told my neighbor right before she passed too that my name
Some would
wasn't
say
Paul.
it killed her. I think the heartbreak of
Yeah.
knowing that she'd called you that wrong for 8 years killed her.
If you just waited a little bit longer, then it would have solved itself.
You know, the irony is when she was buried, they put the wrong name on her gravestone, which is...
What else you got, Josh?
Let's talk about every time I say let's talk about, I always want to say buttered sausage. I love that. That's
Okay,
still
yeah,
holds
so
up.
does Tom. He still thinks it's real. He's gambling on it.
Look, two things, just quick aside. Two things on TikTok that still hold up: buttered sausage and anything Beetlejuice related.
Okay,
Just hanging around, like it's.
You
still
got me
holds
back
up.
in with the Beetlejuice.
I still get them. I love it.
Oh, I get all Stern, like what's going on with Stern now, and apparently the new thing is that he's taking off the entire summer, and everybody's really mad. I'm like, guys, he hasn't worked in years.
Yeah, he doesn't
What are you
need.
talking about?
Yeah, this is what.
Yeah.
I like, and by the way, if I was him, I would take off the entire summer
Yeah.
too. He don't. Speaking of only having a limited amount of time, like the guy's in his late 70s,
He's
right?
like 80.
Or I think he's 75 or something around there.
72, maybe,
So it's like
73.
he's got 10 more good years if he's lucky.
Yeah.
And then
you
it's
don't
like
want to be sitting there talking to a microphone. Look what P. Diddy's doing.
Nobody does, because that's why he still does it. He doesn't need to work anymore. So everybody should be lucky, if you're a Stern fan, that he's still working at all, because he doesn't need to. So
Yeah, isn't it true? He's not even in the studio. Did I hear that somewhere that he's not physically there?
I don't think he has been since COVID. I don't think he's in a little.
Yeah.
He's in a little home studio, I believe, and it's linked into his place.
But also, it made me sad when I heard oh yeah, Howard Stern hasn't left his house in 2 years, and I was like, oh, this
I think he still wipes down his vegetables.
Come
on, man.
You haven't left your house, and
God damn, dog.
You built your own prison. I understand that's
Creed, the most hated band in the world.
And we do whatever you want. Who cares? But I do feel like it's a little sad that you haven't left your house for 2 years. If it has anything to do with COVID or whatever, it's like, you have the money to, unless he has some sort of problem that he's, compromised.
Sounds like agoraphobia to me.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, that's what happens. You don't leave your house, and then that makes you scared to leave your house.
I also think we're in a weird spot where, because of science and because of social media and trends and entertainment, that we have a hard time letting people be old or becoming what they are, right? Like you said it yourself. He's like between 70 and 75 years old, right?
Yeah.
So you have to look at that with the lens of what would a 70, 75-year-old guy be doing?
Yeah. He's not going to travel Europe. You don't even need that.
Well, he's also not going to do Monday through Friday giving you 5-hour shows like he was doing in his power years of his early 30s. It's just not. It's not something I think he would even. I mean, he could do it, but I don't even think he would ever want to do it. He's like, no, that ship has sailed, man.
Yeah.
So we look at him, and then we'll take that, and we'll be like, well, he only works 2 days a week. He sucks now. And it's like, he's 70.
Yeah.
What do you want? It's like Michael Jordan eventually stops playing the game, right? You don't look at him and be like, get out there, you bum. It's weird. It's weird, but I think we do that. We accelerate that because of social media.
The fans like it. We'd get S if we decided, let's say one of us got some sort of large sum of money, right?
No, I don't have that.
And honestly, if I got a large sum of money, I may still want to do the show, but I wouldn't have to. So we may only do, hey, let's just do one Friday every Friday, and that's it.
Right. How much are you talking, Tom? You're like $1 million, $5 million? What's your?
That's what I was thinking too, Josh. What's the number?
I've thought about this. Well,
that's how much he hates me. He's actually thought about this. That's why he gambles, is to get the F out of here.
No. I'll never win gambling. You know that, and I know it. But I think
he's a dreamer.
500,000.
Oh, wow. That's not very much money.
Yeah, lump sum, no taxes.
It is what it isn't.
Cash.
It is what it isn't.
And I don't need.
That'll only float you for
If Uncle Sam doesn't know,
that'll float you for 5 years, I think.
No, I could turn 500,000. but
parlay picks, yeah.
He's gonna gamble it all away.
But I want to use that for this time now, while my son's between the age of 10 and 18, while I can still hang out with him and do stuff, and then I'll go back to work when I have nothing to do.
I think in some ways I'm more arrogant than you because I don't ever see a time when my daughter will not want to hang out with me because I'm awesome. I do think that sometimes. And I'm not saying it's right, but I never have that feeling. I never think oh man, time's a ticking, they're gonna leave. I always think, oh yeah, she loves me. She'll be here forever.
She's not going anywhere.
Yeah, I really do think that it's weird how I feel that way.
When they become an adult, they have their own lives. So it's inevitable.
Already has her own life. I don't even see her now.
Well, then what are you talking about? There's a time where I'm not going to be able to. Yesterday I was playing what is it called? Mario Kart with them, and I was like, man, this is awesome. I was playing Mario Kart and Smash Brothers, and we played for an hour and a half, and I was like, this is awesome. And I'm like, this will not be an option one day. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to want to play Mario Kart with their old man.
They probably didn't already.
No, they did. They wanted to.
Playing games with my dad I was like, God, he's so slow, but I'd let him do it.
Although I talked so much Cash S that I made Max upset, and then everything we were fighting on one point.
So it's only fun for you. Okay, I see how this goes.
Anyway, what's next, Ross? Oh, Ross. Sorry, Josh.
Oh, explosion of the week. Yeah, let's talk about it.
He's like, the problem is that, guy, you're not sitting on the couch, Josh. So I need to, I forget who the hell I'm talking to.
Confrontation of the week.
We can't do the Zoom thing, man. Come on.
Boiled peanuts is what I was going to talk about. You guys had been mentioning, weren't you doing Tom and Dan gay salted nuts or something like that? Are you guys going to do that?
No, it's Freedom Nuts.
Freedom Nuts.
God,
get it right.
Freedom Nuts.
We're doing boiled peanuts.
You don't understand the concept because you're Canadian and you don't understand freedom. But us Americans, we love freedom.
We know how to do it.
So I've never had boiled peanuts. That's why I was wondering if you literally, yeah.
Do you want me to send you some?
Do you eat like the whole shell? Like how does it
No.
work? Like why do you boil them?
What the hell are you talking about?
No, you don't eat the shell. Most people serve them like lukewarm or warm. You get the shell. It's in a brine. You pick up the shell. It's got the brine in it. You put it like in your mouth between your teeth, and you kind of crunch it to open it, and then you peel it open. You suck the juice out, and you eat the 2 or 3 peanuts that are in there, and that's all it is. And you throw the shell in the trash.
It's a lot of like putting your fingers into your mouth and then spitting half the shell out.
You have to finger your mouth.
Then sometimes there's a little nut in there. It's all disgusting.
And you use your teeth to pull it out.
Then you pull out the nuts or whatever. It's a lot of work.
You suck all the brine. You throw the shells on the ground.
And it's disgusting.
So they're okay. I saw them on Amazon. Would those be considered like that'd be a faux pas?
Oh, I wouldn't. Don't buy it on Amazon. Don't. I'll send you some. Do you want some?
Unless they're our freedom nuts, because that's the only way we.
Well, they're in here. I brought them for you Monday, but
I know.
You keep forgetting them.
Crystal told me bring my
he don't care about
peanuts. Me. You did the same thing with you.
No, I did not. I threw it away. I went one step further. I took it out to the trash.
I just forget every time I leave. I'm like, what? God damn it.
What else you got, man?
So yeah, we were talking about it was a hot topic on Reddit about the time, schedule, money, that whole controversy. So
they love that.
Let's talk about my schedule. Let's flesh it out. So I do 3 weeks on, 3 weeks off. Tom, in your mind, like how does that play into the work-life balance? Because it's like 50% of the time I'm 100% gone, 50% of the time I'm 100% home.
That's hard, man.
So
you know.
Yeah, okay. There's a lot to unpack here.
I think I'd be sad doing your job. I like your job. Don't get me wrong, but I think I'd be sad away from my family that long.
Here's the problem with that, Josh, because on paper, you can start to look at it like, well, 3 weeks off, you're able to do so much. The problem is when your kids are going to school and your wife's working or whatever, like only, really their only real free time is on the weekends. Like I know more my kids' schedule, like when they get home from school, if they got like an after school activity or something else, they want to chill out for a little bit themselves, they do some homework, and next thing you know, it's bedtime routine. There's no time in there to do anything.
Yeah.
So the weekends. I was
just talking to Andrew about this last night.
So then now, Josh, you're home for 3 weeks, but you're essentially your kids are at school, your wife's at work.
Yeah.
And so you're by yourself again, and then they're with you, and then the weekends, that's cool. But I think the perfect schedule would be to work like Monday through Thursday and get like 4-day weekends or something like that, like a 4-day work week. But having the 3 weeks off, though, in the summer is pivotal because now you guys are, the Canadians get off in the summer, too. I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
When do you guys offer school?
Yeah,
like
when
ours,
you get out?
this is our last week.
Yeah, no, not till the end of June. Like, June 26th, and then it goes back. Like
End
the
of
first week of
June.
September.
Ours is done this week. Like today, as this airs.
Mine was in like I feel like mine was like June. Like I don't remember ever being out in May, ever.
I mean, I remember.
Is it a temperature thing? Like, why do they do that way?
I honestly don't know. I don't ever remember because I remember my birthday. My birthday's June 12th. I remember like sometimes I would be out, but most of the time I think I was like even in school for my birthday, and it was June, like middle of June, and then we were out like maybe June 18th or June 16th. It seems right.
It was the first week of June in my memory,
But
too.
again, Josh, you can't trust anything I say because my memory is a horrible sewer. It's just
But you guys
terrible.
go back. We go back in August, which is,
and they go back here like usually the first week in September.
Okay. Well, it's not that big of a
See,
difference.
that makes more sense to me, though. So I think you should be – here's what I feel like. This is my feeling. I feel like June is summer, June, July, August, end of August, back to work in September because September's a working month.
Yeah. After
August,
Labor Day.
Yes, because June, July, August is fun months. September, everybody should do that. It should be June 1st to August 31st or 30th, whatever it is. That should be summer for everybody. Make it easy. And those are the 3 months you get. And then we're back to work in September because we do a couple, and then we do a little bit we do the Christmas thing.
So
that's what I think.
So what were you talking about, Josh?
Oh, we were just talking about my schedule. Yeah, and I've done it for so long, though. It's like my kids never knew any other way. I guess it was harder when they were littler, having to leave. Good thing they'll have boys, and they're both very non-dramatic because they never had to do the. Brendan did it to me once. Daddy, I don't want you to go to work, and that was it. Like
I've never had that.
When my emotion, can you imagine, Dad? Like basically, Daddy,
I've never had Dad-ass day, never, not even one time. It'd be like, peace, I'll see you later.
Yeah,
I'll FaceTime you.
You know, I never got that either, but I'm at home a lot. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I
it.
never leave for any sort of long trips or anything. Like, I thought about that too, which now you got the advantage of, like, at least your kids have, like, thought to themselves, like, I wish Dad was home. You know what I'm saying? Like, my sons have never wished for me to be home. I'm always there. Like,
absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Yeah.
Even when they don't want you there, you're knocking on their door like, hey, Mario Kart.
I'm bothering them too much. I'm like, hey, another adventure. They're like, oh, God, you and your adventures. Oh, like, too many. Like, I'm giving them too much.
But based on what you've
their
created.
Their life is too good.
Based on what you've created in your own brain, will you ever say to yourself, I'll always regret taking that other adventure? You've even, I think you've even formulated your own guidebook to like convince yourself that what you're doing is right.
Yeah. No, it's as bad as a religion. I've ingrained myself into a thought that I can't get out of, and I'll die with it, and I'll die fighting for it.
What you're describing is most people, though.
No, I don't. But so there's advantages, disadvantages, but again, though, just like that thread was talking about, like your job's your job, not much of a choice. Like you make a good living, it is what it is, and that's how it is for most people, you know. And like a lot of people, I will say, they do long for something else when they are in a job. They constantly, like, I feel like you're in a job for a couple of years and you're like, what else could there be? Something better, you know?
Yeah.
But that's, I think most human psychology is grass is greener on the other side. And a lot of times it isn't. Like,
I don't think that ever changes it for anybody. I think that's a pretty consistent feeling.
But if you tell yourself, like, it may be at first, but guess what? After a while, you're going to be longing for something else, or you're going to be like, oh, maybe this could be better. And so if you just try to make what you have work, then maybe that's better than constantly thinking something else could be better, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
If you can't be with the one you love the one you're with.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a fancy way of saying just settle.
Yeah. Settling is good sometimes.
What you have is fine.
Some people are unsettled their whole life.
Yeah,
and then
we know a lot of those people, especially in business. I see it a lot.
Yeah,
I see it a lot.
And I think and maybe this is the natural rhythm for most people's lives, but I only recently in my 40s started to settle in my brain about what the rest of my life is. And I don't know if like other people ever thought like this, but like, or maybe
you're more of a planner than me. I don't have. This sounds
more of a planner.
This sounds like reckless and like but seriously, you think about where you're going to be later in life. You do it with events. You'll be like, I don't do that.
Yeah,
I don't.
Well, that's the anxiety in you. Yeah, you get anxiety thinking about too far.
Probably, yeah. So it kind of maybe keeps me out of there, right? It naturally just keeps me out of that lane. I don't do that.
But
your schedule. I think you guys if you guys could get down to 4 days a week.
God, we talked about this yesterday, dude. We just talked about this yesterday.
Yeah, you're kind of like Monday's BDM day, Fridays a mediocre time. But I mean, if you could, I don't know, put the BDM shows back to Tuesday. Like I think if you guys could get. You guys would have the
take Mondays off like a fancy pizza place. I like that.
But the problem, Josh, is like what to fill it with. We'd have to fill it with something.
You couldn't get it in 4 days? Like you guys couldn't condense your
we could do it all in one day.
100%. But the problem, but again, it's like that's good for the summers, and maybe we'd start doing that in the summertime so that we have longer weekends or something. But when the kids are at school, what are we just going to be off? Like Daniel, like Maisie's works,
I hate it now. I hate it.
10-hour days between dance and school, and then Andrew's at work.
Slowly edit because she's a dance. Like seriously, I'll sit there and I'll be like, well, I'll slowly edit.
Like days that we have off or whatever, Daniel will still show up to work and he'll be here.
I will.
Yeah. You gotta,
He's right.
So then,
because I don't really have much going on for me. So I don't have a lot going on.
But there, because there's like if your family was off, then of course you'd have something to do.
My family's
right?
not right.
But they're working, so then that's the problem. And I would always feel guilty that we could be doing something extra, either making the company better, providing something better for the listener,
shampooing the carpet,
finding more sponsors,
more interviews, more interviews set up.
Yeah,
God, I don't want any more interviews. I'm done talking to people. I got nothing left to say.
Better interviews, so there's always something to do with this company. Only the recording is just the small percentage of this. The rest is planning events, sales, trying to upgrade.
Setting up equipment.
Daniel was working on these cameras
for
about
the first hour this morning.
Because the
they're way better now, though. I will report that everything I did is working, so that's great.
There's a small team here, so there's no way. If we pulled back, we'd have to fill it with something. I've thought about this too.
See, this is what he does. See, he does this. I do not do this. He's thought about when he says, and it makes me mad sometimes because people will say well, he didn't really think of that, and I'm like, oh yeah. You don't understand, dude. As much as I'm crazy in one direction or whatever, he will sit there and you'll find him just thinking about, what are you thinking about? I'm thinking about the future, 5 years ahead.
So Josh, and maybe we could talk this out, but a while back, and this is because of Jesse from Odang Hummus, but Jesse knew he was on Shark Tank. Then he was in a Shark Tank group with other people that were on Shark Tank. Then he started consulting people that were about to go on Shark Tank. He knows a lot about Shark Tank, right? And so I was talking to him. This was in our old studio, so it's 8 years ago, right? And we started talking about man, our business could be good for Shark Tank because it's podcasts are up and coming. This is a long time ago.
I remember.
And then your local podcast is an interesting story. I think you could probably have a shot to make it on the show. And it's great advertising. Who cares what you'd even ask for or what but just getting on the show is a win.
Yeah, that's
right?
all you need.
Is the marketing win. So I remember back then I started thinking about okay, that's a good idea. He was going to walk us through it or whatever. But then it came to what we would ask for and what we would do with the money that would help the business.
We also had to do an evaluation of our company when we were filling it out.
Yeah, but that's all easy enough. But it's not what do you do with Mark Cuban buys 49% of the company, and let's just say we get him for $2 million, okay, and then he gives us $2 million. I couldn't figure out how to make $2 million build this company bigger. I know that sounds stupid, but I was like,
yeah, what else would you do? Yeah, that's
because
I think Josh gets it.
Because $2 million is not going to help our content, really.
No.
Yes, we could get other employees. Maybe we could hire comedians or something. Something I don't know. But that doesn't necessarily guarantee anything.
I guess we could take all business out of your hands and take all editing out of my hands, and then basically we just be writing and
working on content, but that doesn't necessarily guarantee.
Chat room says koozies. Thank you, Tracy. That was
Tracy.
Tracy.
Network, you guys could.
No, I don't want a network. I never want a network.
Yeah, that's not that's not a really viable business option either.
No,
you need a sales. You could technically. Here's the problem: you could start a marketing business. But that's just hiring an army of salespeople and them going out there. Then all of a sudden you're far away from T&D Media. Now you're just a marketing company. And so okay, I can start but how to grow a podcast? It really a lot of it is organic. And a lot of it has to do with right place, right time, and just how does a band get popular? A band gets popular because they hit some hit song, and it spreads around, and then you know what I'm saying. But that's all over the place.
And also a lot of it comes back to the word we say way too much on the show, which is just grinding.
And a lot of luck.
Grind, yeah.
But
a lot of it is luck.
So giving me $2 million or giving this company $2 million wasn't necessarily, and I mean, you could lie, I guess, and just we're going to invest it into marketing.
Well, wait a minute. If you got $2 million, we could each take $1 million and then go back to the original thing and quit.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I was like, well, I don't know what a bunch of money could help.
Maybe killing the show at its peak. We're not at our peak, though. We're already on our way down. Damn it. We missed it. God damn it. We missed
the peak a long time ago.
We missed the peak.
You know what's funny?
What was the peak?
Hard Rock Live. Hard Rock Live.
No, I think before that.
Before that?
I think the the 9-year anniversary was the peak.
That was a good, 9 years.
That had a lot of people
right.
there.
You nailed it.
Yeah.
9-year downtown.
Yeah.
Because like COVID actually hurt our events a little bit, hurt all events because it just like it made it all weird. We were talking about that today.
And the 10-year anniversary was good too, and they were good, but the 9-year with the wrestling.
And don't even get me started on the land cruise. You know my thoughts on that.
You know, it's funny when we say these things, like people take us seriously. A lot of people even know we're kind of serious.
No, we are serious and we're not serious. We think
effing
things
around.
out on the air, and then people get mad about it.
But someone told me like a person that we know, I won't call them out.
Oh, let me call them out.
But they said they're like, hey, I heard Daniel mention something about the business. Is everything okay? Like,
oh no, what did I say? What did I say?
Oh, you just said it was failing. Like as a joke.
It is.
No, it's not failing.
All businesses are failing right now.
Well, everything does have a life cycle. It all lives and dies.
Yeah. And I'm in my chrysalis right now.
Like even the most popular podcast you could say is what, Joe Rogan. Like he is.
Yeah, Rogan.
He's not at his peak. He is.
No,
he is dying.
He already peaked.
Just like us, and just like everybody else. Like you're growing. Taylor Swift could be like she's plateaued. Maybe I don't know how more popular.
I think she's
get.
peaked. Yeah, I think the eras is the peak.
Like
and then
her next tour is not going to be as popular as this.
No, it won't be. Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe
when was Rogan's peak? Was that the Spotify deal?
Yeah. It was the 500.
How much did he get?
500 million.
500 million.
Or is it 50 million? Was it 50 or 500?
Or was it 100 million? 500 million was Howard Stern.
Okay, that was his peak.
That's way too much money. My God.
But he had to pay all his own thing. Like
that's true. He was building out his own infrastructure.
Yeah, and they made him pay for everything. Like,
that's how they do those deals too. That's how the Monsters deal was. It was we give you this lump sum of money and you just build it out.
Yeah, you pay all your employees.
Yeah, that's when I had an agent.
Did Rogan get 50 million? I forgot.
I think it may have been 50.
I think it was 50.
Yeah,
but at the time we were like 50 million.
Yeah, we couldn't believe it. We couldn't believe it.
But you could tell what happened to him too is like he went back on all other platforms. Which because
he's already balking about it though because they're already censoring him on YouTube and he.
It's
but he likes
listening
that.
to them
he
now
likes
they
that
gotta
because
censor so much.
But think about it, like you put yourself back on there, you know, you open yourself up to everybody, and then you get content by being able to bitch about something you knew was going to happen. Come on, man, don't be a fool.
Well, he's doing it on every radio. It's like the program directors, the company.
He's like, YouTube's out of. Shut up! You could have just stayed where you were, dude. You didn't need to go back there, but your listenership was going down, and that's why you re-released it to everybody because egomania never dies.
No. Well, that was a Spotify, or was it Spotify, right?
Yeah, Spotify was locked in.
But they needed the marketing money.
They all opened it back up.
Because they were like, listen, the brands that market with you need more audience.
They spent too much money on all of their Spotify-only shows.
We need your commercials on YouTube and all other platforms.
We got to get out of here. I'm sorry.
Sorry, Josh.
Okay.
Hey, this was
fun.
Well,
it was good seeing you guys. Yeah.
I felt like we got serious. We were kicking things around like some couple of Canadian bros having a beer.
Josh, we offered you free tickets to our 10-year live anniversary show, and you won't fly all the way down just to use them.
What the hell,
man?
$20 a free.
Saving it for the cruise.
Oh, you're going on the cruise?
He is on the cruise.
Yeah.
Are you bringing your dogs on the cruise?
Yes.
Bring a service dog. No, bring one service dog, and I'll bring mine. If you bring Hank or what's his name?
I don't think you can bring.
His new fake name is Huey.
I've never seen a service dog on a cruise, so I don't think.
I'm gonna be the first.
I think they put their foot down and don't allow it.
Do you think I could get him in there sneakily? Do you think we know enough people at the port that I can get Dansby in my room?
No,
because I don't care about getting banned for cruising for life. I've been on enough. I've done it.
I can get a medical certification.
We should talk about this on another show. I think I know enough people at the port that I can get him airlifted into my room. Or maybe they can wrap him in a gift basket and put him in there like a bottle of champagne. So when I walk in, he's in there wrapped up. We'll talk to you later, buddy.
See you, Josh.
Okay, see you guys.
All right, man. Be good.
All right.
We got to get out of here.
Oh, bye-bye.
Thank you for giving me the ending. That's what I needed. All right. Good job, buddy.
Sorry, I didn't realize we went that long.
No, it's fine. Did you get to that one port at 33 and go like, uh-oh? Because I kind of did too.
Yeah, when we got to 33.
Yeah. I was like, uh-oh. That's funny. All right. Well, I guess we're going to go get something to eat, y'all.
Yeah, we had to skip lunch because of our meetings.
We had a meeting in Sanford for Sofa and Suds. Hope you guys are good. Thanks for watching us. I'll put this up on YouTube and whatnot now, and we will see